It is my joy and honor to be interviewing two people who have played a major role in making the David and Lucille Packard Foundation what it is today. We have Cole Wilbur and Carol Larson here, the two major directors of the foundation, in addition to Dick Schlossberg, who spent 4 years in that same position. Cole, I wanted to, if I can, start with you and ask what it feels like to look back at 50 years, because that's what we're doing, is celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Packard Foundation, which started in 1964.
That's right. It started out quite small. I think the very first year, the total assets were $17,000, and they gave them all away. For the first 23 years, the foundation was pretty much dominated, but in a very exceedingly excellent way, by Lucille Packard. Dave was busy at the company. The children were busy with getting out of graduate school and starting their own jobs in life, and the foundation was fairly small. Then when Lucille passed on in 1987, Dave Packard took over. He had retired from the company, HP, and was now quite involved in the programs and all. And then when Dave died in '96, it became basically the next generation who were the key players on the board.
I know that Dave's interests in science and their mutual interests in conservation and Lucille's particular passion toward children, all of those continue to run throughout the focus of the foundation today. But in addition to content areas, I hope that they would very much recognize the tone we try to set here in terms of the values of the foundation, how we do our work, because I know that was very important to both of them as well.
Does anything come to mind just off the top of your head that David would be very tickled with at this moment that you're doing?
Well, we just celebrated the 25th anniversary of the Packard Fellowships in Science and Engineering. So over 500 of the nation's leading researchers have received incredible support through the Packard Fellowships to pursue their research, and there have been incredible breakthroughs. I think he would have been really proud of that.
And I think Dave really had a real interest in the population program also. He felt that countries, international, if they had a very fast-growing population, their economy would never catch up. And this was happening a lot. And so he encouraged us to work first in Mexico, and we were quite successful there, and then now in Africa and Southeast Asia. And so I think it's, you know, he would be very proud of the program that we have and that Carol's running now.
Carol, tell me about a proud moment that stands out in your mind.
I have been thinking back on, this is my 10th year as president, and I've been at the foundation working as an employee for 25 years. So I've seen many proud moments for the foundation and for us as staff. For me, a common characteristic is we've been clear about our goals of the change that we hope to see in the world, that we stay for a long time focused on those goals, but we do it in partnership with grantees and other donors, so we continue to adapt. So a recent example of that for me was in Ethiopia just in November, where we started to work there in 1998, being really clear that we wanted to have increased access to reproductive health services for the women of Ethiopia. And we've stayed long. Here it is, 17 years or 15 years later. And since we started to work there, we've had great partners both in government and in NGOs, both on the ground and internationally. And we've kept our focus on increasing access to family planning, but we've changed how we've done it along the way. And so here I was in November, this many years later, and saw both in rural villages that the need continues, but through that kind of long-term focus and good partnership with people in Ethiopia, huge progress has been made. We're going to keep working there, but it was a proud moment to stand with leaders of Ethiopia and really leaders of developing countries around the world looking at Ethiopia and its progress in this area. And I think we've had something to do with that.
Carol, what does the next 10 years bode for us?
We've been working for over a decade around promoting sustainable fishing practices globally. And we now see an opportunity over the next 5 to 10 years to do more in Asia on that, in both Japan and China. In reproductive health, we see an opportunity to do more in sub-Saharan Africa, particularly in the Democratic Republic of Congo, but also in our own country, where access to reproductive health services is so scarce in some parts. So we're going to start with a focus on Mississippi and Louisiana in that. In terms of continuing our work on children's issues, we've really been committed to this in the United States, and particularly in California, for both health access for kids and also for reproductive, and also for early childhood education. So now we're going to continue that focus on early ed, but extend it to the informal care sector. When you think about children who are 0 to 3 or 0 to 5 in our country, a lot of them, close to 50% or more, are cared for by neighbors or friends and not in formal care settings, so we want to focus on that.
Carol, I understand it's about 60% of your giving is outside of the United States and 40% is in the United States. And part of that 40% is $2 billion that you spend locally in the 4 counties that you are contiguous to us here. It's interesting because in philanthropic work, you end up saying no more often than you say yes. How does that rest with you?
Yeah. Well, it's a couple things there. One is I want to underscore that I'm very proud that this foundation has kept a strong local focus. Mm-hmm. That we really are trying to be not only good citizens, but work with all the creative leaders here locally to make our communities in the 5-county area better. And so we have, over the history of the foundation, I think we have added it up. It is, $1.5 billion or so that's gone into the local counties. But then there is always the question about saying no. We can't possibly be funding everyone who comes in. I'd be worried if we were able to fund everyone who sent something in, because then I think we probably weren't getting enough good ideas, and there should be more demand of attention to worthy causes than we have dollars to give. But I want to make sure that we listen well to people, that we give it a fair consideration. And also, I think it helps for us to be in collaboration with other funders, so that when we can't be helpful, that there are other funders potentially that can be.
The Packard Foundation is located in a magnificent part of the Bay Area and has the wonderful Los Altos Town Crier as a paper. How do you feel about this area, being located here for the entire life of the foundation?
We love it. We love being here. It's been just a great privilege to be able to work in such a nice environment, but even more important, we're being honored as Los Altos Citizen of the Year, and the previous award recipients also exemplify this incredible spirit that you find among people in Los Altos, people in the Bay Area, and we hope around the country, of people who care about their local community, want to improve it, and give with a generous heart. So we love being part of that. Our employees love to come work here, and we look forward to lots of partnership with Los Altos and others in the Bay Area to keep working in the areas we're focused on.